By now you will have seen some hopefully beautiful drone shots of the new Alfa Romeo Giulia, but I think it's time that we get up close to it. So let's start from the front. At the bottom of the bumper we find an active carbon fiber splitter. It will actually protrude during cornering and under braking to give you maximum downforce. Under here is a brand new 2.9 litre bi-turbo V6, which sends its power through an 8-speed gearbox down a carbon fiber drive shaft to these 19-inch wheels, which are covered in Pirelli P0 Corsa AR tyres. Now the AR stands for Alfa Romeo. These are specifically designed for this car. At the back we find a carbon fiber spoiler and 4 tailpipes, which is of course lovely. And then to top it all off, a slightly redesigned Alfa Romeo badge, which if you look closely features a snake eating a man, which I've always found quite odd. Like we've all been staring at this car for a long time now, drooling over our keyboards as we Googled it like giddy teenagers. And it is preposterously beautiful in the metal. But I've been dying to drive it. And so I will. Race mode, manual, drop a pedal, there we go. That's quick. This V6 will hit its red line of 7,000 RPM in manual mode. I've got 375 kilowatts to play with. 0 to 100 comes up in 3.9 seconds, which is mental for a 4-door saloon. Alfa Romeo borrowed a few engineers from Ferrari to make this car, and I reckon they know what they're doing. The handling is properly sorted. Weight balance perfect, 50-50. It's so nimble and agile, and what turbo lag? Just wants to dance through these corners. And this engine is superb. I know it's got 2 turbochargers, but I can't feel them. Where's the lag? Let's take a quick scientific look at why the Giulia is so fast. It's because of its power to weight ratio. Now admittedly, this is not a very complicated concept. More power, less weight, the faster you go. At 1,524 kilograms, it weighs almost exactly the same as a BMW M3, but it has an extra 58 kilowatts and an extra 50 Newton meters of torque, which is pretty healthy. And they've managed to keep the weight down by using lots of aluminium and lots of carbon fiber. So the bonnet, the boot and the drive shaft, that's all carbon fiber, as well as a lot of the bits and pieces in here. And this power is all very manageable thanks to Alfa's driving modes, which they call DNA. Now D stands for dynamic and NNA stand for something else. But you do get this special mode called race. You have to hold this little knob down to the left to get it, and that cranks up the engine, cranks up the exhaust, cranks up the throttle response and the gearbox, and it turns the traction control off completely. The interior is good, it's very good, but maybe not as good as the Germans. Although I think it is inspired by the Germans. This jog wheel is very Audi-esque and this gear lever is very BMW-ish, but that's not a bad thing at all. There's also a new infotainment system, which I really like. It's nice and easy to use and it looks good. But where the Alfa Romeo is most successful is making you feel like you're in a sports car, maybe even a supercar. This super curvy steering wheel, these big silver flappy paddles, this low bucket seat with its carbon fiber backing, it all makes you feel quite special. Would anyone mind if I just did one more blast up this mountain road? I mean, I was going to anyway. Oh, this engine is sublime. It's a masterpiece, it really is. But I feel like I need to hear it more. It's just a little too muted. I mean, I'm sure it sounds good outside the car, but in here, it feels like I want to stick my head out the window. Give me more oral satisfaction! I mean, it braps on the upshift and it blips the throttle on the downshift, and it's got this throaty presence which is quite nice, but there's just not enough there. And sound really helps you feel what an engine's doing, and I just can't connect to this engine in a way that I'd like to. And the steering rack is just a little too fast. It feels like if you turn it an inch too much, you'll end up in the sea. I mean, I'm sure you'll get used to it, but it's making me feel a little bit uneasy. And there's a bit of a lack of steering feel coming through the steering wheel. And in race mode, the front end can feel a bit light. But, and I'm sure you were expecting, but it's not enough to ruin the experience. In fact, not buying a Giulia because of the things I've just mentioned would be like not dating Monica Bellucci because she has 11 toes. I mean, you just put up with it, wouldn't you? Overall though, I think Alfa have done it. I think this is a car to inspire a new generation of petrol heads. I think it's a car which will make casual observers swoon over its good looks. A car which does justice to a company which is nearly 107 years old, with a glorious history in motor racing and just generally making exciting cars. This is the car to restore pride in Italy's normal car making culture. A car to stick it to the Germans. A car to be a working class hero amongst the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, and the Maseratis. This is a car to make Alfa Romeo great again, and a car to make Italy great again. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'll try and sing along to the Italian national anthem. Goodbye.